15 minutes of chillcast, and being very unchill, my computer has crashed. Oh, okay. Not only did the stream fail to upload, I don't know. Well, anyways, here I am. It's not raining. This looks like where I left off in the rain before, so I guess that the entire progress of the game was lost at that point. I don't want to carry that around. Carry this around. Actually, I'll carry torches around. They obscure the view the least. They're fun. Here. No, here. There. Whee! Zoom, 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 zoomity, zoom, zoomity, zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, 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 zoomity, zoom, zoomity, zoom, zoom, zoom. All zoom, zoomity, zoom, running through the woods. Zoom, 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 zoomity, zoom. Oh, you know, be no good. What do you expect? I was good at making up songs. I wouldn't be playing Minecraft on YouTube to an audience of less than that. I'd be making money writing songs. Where are we in terms, relative terms to the map? Need to go much more in this direction. Good, 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 good. I think. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm on the map yet or not. What am I doing? Okay, it's time to get out of the water. Get back on the shore. Start heading in a different direction again. Like so. It is very dangerous to run through unknown territory like this. Yes. I do get awfully impatient. Sometimes I miss active worlds. It was pretty. But in active worlds, if you wanted a scene like this, somebody had to build it block by block, tree by tree. None of this stuff was auto-generated. The terrain was flat. If you wanted generated terrain, you had to. Yeah, it was crazy. There. I vaguely recall there was something that would auto-generate. Oh, yeah. You placed an object at ground zero and told the game to tile it, and then the object you placed at ground zero would become everywhere. It would be a specific object that was designed to create a landscape. You would have trees built into it or something, or it would be a water tile that would create an ocean. Yeah, it's kind of clumsy, really. Isn't that cute? That's just such a pretty tree. I don't know. When I first saw these trees, they were so weird because they were just like this trunk that almost like a baobab tree. They just stayed thick, and then all of the leaves clustered at the top, and I was kind of tripped out about it, but I like it. I like them. You know, these squat, fat, dense, dark trees. Now this looks familiar. This looks like I'm near familiar territory. It really does. I think we're going to see my bamboo tower in the distance soon. Make my way through. Just looking for the tower. If I climbed up there, I might see it. But I don't feel like it. It's not that much fun to climb up things. I shan't. I don't want to. Oh, I need to finish the map load over here, though. Climb up this little... This looks like it's got a way to the top, perhaps. No? There? Maybe here. Once again. I don't feel like modifying the terrain in order to do it. It's a kind of a game of mine to try and get up here without modifying the terrain to do it. But I'm not sure that's going to happen. It's like a puzzle, you know. Can you get up here without modifying terrain? And yes, I did. Okay, so it wants me to map this snow-capped mountain is what's going on. Oh, isn't that a pretty little lake? Or stream, or waterfall. Yeah, I guess waterfall is the only appropriate word for that. But it's creating a lovely little stream, isn't it? See, the way the water works in Minecraft is the water will flow up to 7 blocks horizontally from its most recent fall. So if it drops 1 block, it'll go up to 7. Every time it drops 1 block, it'll go up to 7. So if you want a waterfall that lasts far more, what you would do is you'd have 6 blocks and a drop over and over again. And by doing that, until your world bottomed out, you could keep that waterfall going off 1 water source block. That's kind of cool. That is super easy. Wow. That's just bare rock. Now that's not the kind of mountain you see very often at all. And yes, it's probably riddled with caves. And look at this. It's like a big ass oak tree here on the corner. They're defying nature. Defying the snow, defying the cold, saying, I will grow here. Ooh. I'm sorry. Yawning's really obnoxious. Here are my teeth. Look at all of them at once. You're welcome. Why, thank you. Take care of my teeth. They were very crooked when I was young because I sucked my thumb at a very late age. My parents got me braces. Braces were expensive. They never let me forget. The braces were expensive. And that I should be very good to my teeth and not lose them. Both of my parents wore dentures, so me not losing my teeth was important to them, and in fact, it was important to me too. I was kind of freaked out about the idea of having dentures. I mean, all the adults had them, but that didn't seem to me like the way it ought to be. Yeah, I still have all my teeth in my 50s. And for my parents' generation, that's remarkable. And I remember someone recently going, oh, those are your teeth? You know, you still have all your teeth? I says, well, you know, I don't have them all. But a representative sample, yeah. Oh, dear. I haven't had cavities in a long time. Now, when I have problems, it's old fillings that have come loose, or it's from grinding my teeth with stress, or it's gum receding, and cracking, and that kind of weird stuff. It's my dash blocks. Isn't it pretty? Because you're a week later, but I'm still on the same day. I'm still smoking the same Critical Super Silver Haze. The gamer's weed. I still can't get over this legal weed business. It's only been a year. But a lifetime of hiding, and shame, and fear, and feeling like I must necessarily be an outlaw. Because when you're an outlaw for something this benign, you kind of feel like the rest doesn't matter either all that much. I mean, you've got your ethics, but you don't care about the law. The law doesn't care about you. Now that I'm legal, I don't know how to take it sometimes. I'm like, wait a minute. Does that mean I'm not a crook anymore? I'm not a criminal? Because that's the only one that ever broke the law. Does that make me an honorable citizen? Like, am I actually, like, a decent law-abiding citizen now? Complete change of social class here. Not sure how to take that. The bats flying around because there's a cave down here. Bats are a clue that there may be caverns nearby, by the way. With an opening to the sky above. Ooh, we could get a horse, huh? The minute you hit some woods, the horse becomes pointless. All of these horses are young anyway. You have to have a full-grown horse to ride it. They're cute twins. They're all baby horses. Baby horse doo 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 doo. Baby horse doo 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 doo. Baby horse doo 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 doo. Baby horse. Earworm of the century? Well, it's too early in the century to tell. But it might be. It's certainly a contender, I'd say it that way. It's a contender for earworm of the century. And I would definitely vote it as earworm of the decade. Especially now that the decade's almost out. Huh. New Year's Eve this year. What's next year going to be? Yeah, I know. Think about that. 2020s. Well, for one thing, 2020 whatever, 2021, 2022, and so on, have been really popular choices for science fiction. Like there's a song that starts out in the year 2525. It's great. You should look it up. Cool. In the year 2525, if man, and then it goes 35, 35, if man is still alive, if woman can survive, they may find, and so on. I'm not going to sing it all for you because I don't remember the lyrics. I just know it's a really awesome song, and go sing it. Go listen to it. It's cool. Well, anyways, that's the decade we're about to enter. You get it? You get it? We're about to enter the 2020s. Now, for somebody who is 20, that's like, yeah, well, whatever. No, it's not a big deal. It's been that way. It's like, that's the way it is. But for somebody who grew up, as I did, in the mid-20th century, this is a fabled and faraway time we were never going to reach. Oh, heck, we were going to blow up the world before we got here. Definitely going to destroy ourselves first. I still think we're going to destroy ourselves before we make it through the future. We're still here, though. We've been waiting to destroy ourselves now for over 50 years, since before I was born. So, good job, humans. Go plant some trees. Let me tell you about Team Trees, in case it's still going on. I don't know. Should have talked about it in last week's video. But, whatever. They're trying to raise $20 million to plant 20 million trees. They're going to be planting trees in a variety of ways, from kids in fields, to paying tree planters, to scattering seed pucks, seed and manure pucks into the wilderness with drones. That last one's kind of cool, and they're gonna you know, put the footage on YouTube of seeding the wilderness with drones, and that's gonna be interesting because that is some thick bush. Well, the bush is gone; it's been chopped down, but some thick snag they're gonna have to put they're gonna be flying over. Some really weird hillsides and valleys, because that's the purpose of it, is to put trees in places that tree planters just too hard for them. I won't say can't go, because I knew some hero tree planters. Oh, look at how far astray I've gone here. Try and fill in that little strip. There's a crescent strip of stuff that's not filled in. Yeah, so I've known some real hero tree planters. None of them are online. They tend to be Luddites. The old ones, anyway. They're used to sitting around with a musical instrument at the end of a long day and providing their own entertainment. And, they're as sucked into YouTube as anyone else, but not actually, no. The kind of people who browse it briefly, but they actually pick up books and read and go out and do stuff. You know, they're not sitting in front of a monitor all day. That's how they think life should be lived, and they feel sorry for those of us that don't do it that way. And I've done all of the above, can do any of the above. I want to turn off the YouTube, I turn on some music, and I go do something else. Same thing with games. I feel as though I am in control of it. There are times when the Facebook sucks me in real hard and I get mad at it. Find myself for days just being obsessed by clearing the notifications, making sure I got back to everybody. Well, there's my tower, see? Okay, so we're mapping familiar known territory once again. I strayed from that crescent I have to fill in. Well, then, I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. I'm sorry. I can't rewind. And I can't hear you screaming at me from the future. Another room far away. And by the time your comments get here, it's going to be moot. I actually posted a video for Team Trees to talk about it. I talked about my trees. Ones that I care for and the ones that I've planted. Trees here in my yard. I've added a lot more foliage to my yard than was originally here. And talk about the benefits that it gives me. Wildlife. And show some photographs of the beauty that it gives me. So I'm hoping people like it. I picked my best and favoriteest piece of music for it. The one that everybody actually likes. Hoping it gets lots of traction. One of those opportunities for me. Because if it can get into the Team Trees feed, then I get myself in front of a lot more eyes than I'm currently getting. And for me to find the people who like my stuff, I need to cast a wide net. I'm having a really hard time getting the net to cast. My Team Trees, I unabashedly admit, is created for that purpose. But the honest truth is, I am and have always been quite a tree lover. And I grieve every tree that's ever been chopped down in front of me. Well, not in front of me, that I've known about. I've had so many trees murdered, and I've been just stood mute witness. Hopeless. Stop the murder. Fully grown, mature, beautiful, deep-feeling trees. It's one of my most passionate. I have to move that water. It's driving me nuts. It's gonna whistle. It's merely my intention to boil both kettles so that they'll be hotter to make it through the night. Thermal energy storage. Yeah. For years, encouraging paper recycling and going digital over paper has been my primary activism for trees, on behalf of trees. I haven't really had a lot of opportunity or strength. My disability really interferes with doing anything more concrete than that, like going tree planting. It's a very social experience, really. And I'm sure that the people doing it would say that it's a very solitary experience. There was one with no berries on it there. A few of them like that. Yeah, all right. Fact is, I've got my 64 berries, right? And 5 extras. So let's take the 5 extras and just randomly stick them around. It's funny I'm not seeing active foxes. Now that they've been spawning, you'd think we'd see them when we're in places where foxes go. At night, especially when they're active. Wouldn't you think so? Let's check our map and see what it's doing. Oh, I see. That's our home map. That's the one that actually shows both villages, the original borders of this world when it was small, and the desert town, and it shows the full rail line. Yeah, okay. Oops. Now let's put that back. This is the one I wanted to look at. Right. Look how far over I am on it. Wow. Okay. I like being empty-handed, so that's what I'm going to do. Here we go. It's this one here I'm trying to fill in, and there's that silly little snake of beige there where I somehow managed to just slightly veer enough off track to not get it all filled in. And it's rather annoying. There's a torch over there. I think that's what's going wrong. I'm trying to get around this chasm. Whatever this is. It leads me just far enough astray. I don't map this area. There we go. Now we're aiming straight for the heart of the blank spot. All right, there you go. Oh. Have I ever told you about the first time I saw the Rocky Mountains? It's very romantic. I was about 19 or 20. I was very young. I was married. I'd married at the age of 18. I can't remember how it worked exactly. I don't really know if I was legally married yet or just had been with him a couple of years. Anyways, it was my first husband. One of the things he had done in his life was he had ridden freight trains extensively. And it was a way of running away from the cops when he had broken the law and they were looking for him. Apparently, one time he lived 2 full years on the rails, running continuously, and occasionally returning back to, familiar haunts to see people, and then hitting the road again because he'd done something, and I guess he was waiting for the statute of limitations. When he did something, it was either malicious mischief to somebody's property because he was angry with them about something, or it was a drugstore bust to get drugs. 100% every time. Those are the only two things he ever did, as far as I could tell. Although, now this is interesting, and I wonder if it played a part. I did eventually find out that, never mind. Let's not tell stories that ugly. So we were riding freight train through the mountains. We were going to try and get to Vancouver. The funny thing is, I did this trip 3 times, never did make it to Vancouver that way. Also, his mother lived in BC, and so we usually wound up at her place and then headed home from there. And so we hopped a couple of grain cars. Now, a grain car is a large tank-like car with sloped sides, with bracing, like the sloped, the ends. The ends pinch so that the grain slides toward the hoppers. Under there, they have support bracing. And then they leave holes, access holes, so that the welders and painters can get in, do their thing. Now, these days, a lot of times they weld them shut. They just put one across because it's easy enough to cut the welds to get in, but it stops people like me from riding in it. And that was where we rode. Once you get inside the main entrance, then on either side, there's 2 little cubbies with your feet down at the end. It's exactly the space you need to lounge. You can look outside, but you're sheltered from the wind. Catch a good sleep. Nobody can see you. And when it's nice out, you can crawl out. And then there's this metal deck with a railing and ladders and stuff all around you. I've actually got old photographs somewhere of us sitting on the train like that. Will not be inserting them. I'm sorry. I don't have the time. They're around somewhere. At any rate, we were riding in one of those, and I was sleeping when we hit the Rockies. Fell asleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night, woken by cold. Frost cold. It just crept right through my sleeping bag and woke me up. Stuck my head out the cubby hole, and the moonlight was shining full from a starry, bright sky. There wasn't as many stars as there could have been because of how bright the moon was, shining off of the snow peaks of the mountains, because the train had managed to climb all the way to the top of the range where it was snow on all sides in June. What do they call it? Robson's Point? I can't remember. Robson's Pass? Crow's Nest Pass? It was Crow's Nest Pass, I think. At any rate, it was literally the divide, east and west flow. And this mountain range marched to the horizon with a valley down the middle of it on either side. So you don't take the same route with a train as you do with a car. So it's the only way to see this specific view. And I've looked in vain. If I could afford to take the passenger train, that would be a way to do it again. And it was just the most amazing sight. I think I've tried painting it, but I mean, you cannot get it out of your memory to share it completely. You cannot share the depth of the scene. It was that moving. So yeah, these mountains, these white shining silver against a starry, almost blue sky, lit by the moon, marching off to the horizon, north and south. It felt like I was entering Mordor. And then an evergreen flashed by, and the rock closed up, and it was over. We were back to cliffs and walls and trees and dark and snow. Keep in mind, I had never seen mountains in my life. I'd never seen a mountain. This was view number one. And when I woke up in the morning, we were in the mountains. But you don't necessarily see much of the mountains when you're in towns, which is where you land when you get off a train. As you land in a town, you don't get off at a siding. And if you're caught outside of a town, they will actually bring you along to the next civilized stop. They don't leave you in the wilderness. They're decent that way. I suppose they might if you scare them. If they don't trust you enough to have you around, like if they're worried about you, they might. But they might also just go ahead, stick you in the, well, they used to stick you in the caboose, because it happened to me once too, where they caught us and they stuck us in a caboose and then they dumped us at the next town. And, we were harmless, right? So that was okay. But I suppose if you're not harmless, there's police waiting when you get there. You really can't get away when you're on the train. We just happily chattered away and talked about our plans, and we were a young married couple on our vacation. It's just, we were so low budget that we were hopping freights. I was having a blast. Yeah, it was good. That was really good. Oh man, but that's a young one's game. You don't want to do that after middle age. There was a middle-aged guy doing it. They age so fast. Yeah, we ran into a middle-aged guy in a freight yard one time. Which when you're sitting in a boxcar and your train has stopped, you have to worry about railway bulls, aka railway security. These guys are looking for you. Part of their job is to get you the heck out of there. So you don't want them to see you. So you don't sit there dangling your legs out of the door, which, by the way, you should never do. You gotta hide. So what you do is you go to the side of that the door is open on, and you sit deep in the carriage on that wall. And you just keep it quiet if you hear anybody. And you can always hear them, because the gravel on the side of railway yards always makes a pile of noise. No stealth there, forget it. You are being heard. That was useless. It was fun. How's the map? Ready to go this way? Okay. Yeah, so we heard this crunching on gravel, and it was like, no, and it was really unnerving. I was getting freaked as we stopped right there at our boxcar door, and then a bag thumped on the floor of our boxcar, and then a head poked its head itself around and looked right at us with shock. We with shock. And then, hey guys, can I ride with you? This guy that looked to me old. Thinking back, and this is where photographic memory comes in, he could have been in his 30s. Very easily have been in his 30s. I thought he was in his 50s. He could have been in his 60s. He was that ageless kind of state. Black overcoat, hair slicked back with Brill cream or natural grease, who knows? Who cares? He tried to keep himself tidy. He had broken glasses taped together. And he was grubby as you get from this kind of thing. And as were we. Nope, not pulling any nose there. giving you the image. He had a funny kind of a face, almost like a face you'd put on a children's show. Just jolly and round and smiling a lot. Also, he rode with us and we shared our food, which he dearly appreciated because he'd been quite hungry. And we had a little bit of money we shared. And when we all got off at a junkyard, my husband went off to get food that we shared with him. And he was just so happy to be with people that had something. You know, I mean, we were broke, but it was our vacation. And what we had done was I think we took a couple $100 so that we could feed ourselves. And so we didn't have souvenir money. We didn't have attractions money. We didn't have travel money. We didn't have camping money. We didn't have anything but grocery money. And in fact, it was our grocery money we brought. But that grocery money, that goes a long way, you know, when you're just feeding yourself ever so carefully. And we weren't above cooking. He was actually quite into that. He'd take a tin can, punch a bunch of holes in it, peel some splinters off the side of the boxcar, and then with another tin can with a wire in it, fill up some water and make himself coffee ever so proudly. It's kind of cool. And, X, yeah. He was a survivalist way back. He never went anywhere without a hacksaw and tin snips, a hammer in a backpack, because he had learned that you could get yourself out of anywhere with these things. He's kind of where I get my Swiss Army knife thing from, you know, where I have a champion Swiss Army knife that I do go places without. I like to get a belt pouch, and then I'll go fewer places. Awfully large in the pocket. I love it. All kinds of wonderful tools to guide your way through life with one of those. Yeah, so this old fellow taught us how to get through Calgary, Edmonton. Get out of Edmonton? That must have been it, because I think we were on the Saskatoon line that time. Well, anyways, he taught us some interesting things. There's some lessons about train riding for anyone who might think to try it. Number one, it's illegal and it's dangerous. Charged with trespassing at the least. There are some hefty fines. They don't want you to do it. Dangerous. Incredibly dangerous. Train wheels amputate things. It's not even a factor of speed. That train could be going at a crawl. That wheel just isn't going to pay attention to any body part you've accidentally stuck under it. It's just going to slice it off. Doesn't matter what your body part is, the train's not going to go, oh, well, it's ahead, I'll stop. And it's extremely easy to fall off the train. And there's no overhang. You fall off that train, the odds of you accidentally sticking some portion of yourself under the wheels is distressingly high. I think that village has been well explored by me. So I'm going to go the other way. I want to go this way. So, yeah, train hopping is ridiculously dangerous. You can't afford to screw up. You really shouldn't be doing it. There's a lot of dangers. Now, some of the other dangers, besides falling off and slipping under the wheels, which, by the way, is why you never get on a moving train. You go places where trains come to a full and complete stop. And you wait until the train does come to a full and complete stop before you get on the train. Don't climb onto a moving train. The next one, move. Go somewhere where they stop. Hitchhike. Catch a hitch ride. You know, go go to the road and hitchhike to the next stop. And we've done that plenty, hitchhiking, because there just wasn't a safe place to get on the train. So that's rule number 1. And I've got a story about breaking that rule that I'll tell you sometime too. It's exciting because the rule, and we're feeling that desperate. So then, next rule. Never close the boxcar door. It locks and there is no handle on the inside. Never, ever close it. And do rummage around for some rubbish and or bring with you, such as a piece of 2x4, 4x4, railway tie, big stick from the woods, or even a rock, something that you can set down in the path of the door, right up against where the door closes on the far side. Because sometimes if the train stops fast enough, it can actually slam its own doors shut. So although you found this cushy boxcar, and boy, they're rare, with a door hanging open, you'll die in it. Get locked in. 2. Never stick any part of your anatomy outside boundaries of your car. Don't sit on the edge of the door with your feet dangling. Don't stick your head around the corner to see where you're going. Don't look out. Don't stick your camera out for a really good photo. Stick your arm out. If you have to stick a portion of your anatomy out, say to leave yourself, put off the back of the car with a firm grip on the ladder. And in boxcars, you know, I'm sorry, train workers realize now they probably had to deal with it, but we pooped in the end. We just picked one end of the boxcar and we pooped, and one end we chilled out, we hung out. Because the darn things are so big and you're just there for a little while. Now, in retrospect, that was the rude thing we did, and that's one of the reasons it's so illegal. It would be good not to leave your feces in the boxcar, in the cars. So, yeah, don't stick any part of your anatomy outside of the boundaries of the car, because bridges and train trestles can have extremely close tolerances. And you're going about 65 miles an hour, that in kilometers. 100? 110? Yeah, so you're going at a good clip, and you're passing through these bridges and trestles that have clearance tolerances of less than 6 inches. So, and sometimes that includes the sidewalls going up as part of the truss. There's not enough room between the bridge and the train for any part of your body to exist. And there's other obstacles along the track that are equally close. Posts and poles and things and light posts. They know what the train does, and they don't expect your head to be hanging off of it or your legs to be swinging. So you can lose. Again, trains amputate things. And you can't always survive an amputation. Yeah, really gotta avoid that. I'm going in total wrong direction here. Yeah. So, yeah, you gotta block the door. And you shouldn't sit in the door. You can sit next to it, but give room just in case, and make sure you've blocked it so that you can get it open again. What else? Don't be seen by the workers. What else? Danger tips. Oh, should somebody fall off the train, like don't try not to travel alone. If you do, stay well back from all doors and openings, because if you get separated from your pack in the middle of the wilderness, well, I don't know. How much of a survivalist are you? You don't want to get separated from your pack in the middle of the wilderness. Trains go through wilderness. They go through real wilderness. Uncivilized, no back country. Like it's back country and then some. There's no cabins. There's no rangers. There's no roads. You've got to slog it through sometimes hundreds of miles of bush, depending on, and mountain valleys, depending on where you might happen to fall off the train. So if you're going to be anywhere near the door and you're alone, you definitely need to be wearing your pack. If you're there with a partner, and this was what he taught me. We always divided the resources between the two packs. So should we get separated, we both had a bit of everything we needed. The food, the tools, the clothing, all of this stuff. We made sure we all had a little bit. Although he tried to carry the bulk of the weight because, he was bigger than me. I realize now I could have handled a lot more weight than I did. But I got strong doing this stuff. I have the backpack too. It was an old prospector's canvas backpack on a wooden frame. I have it, but I'm afraid to use it because I don't want to break it. It's getting so old and fragile. Oh, more of this. Yep. So, yeah, what was I saying? Can't hear you. I'll have to try and remember. How to stay safe. Number one, just don't do it. Okay, that's tip number one. Number two, if your partner falls off the train, don't jump after them. Throw their pack to them. Throw them their pack. And then get off at the next civilized location and call rescue to go get them. Also try to make note of what siding you were on when you lost your partner, because most of the time, if you lose someone, it's because you were stopped at a siding and they got off for something. Things that people get off for is pretty rocks, fresh water, and changing cars. It's like, when you're going around turns, you can see the other cars, and you may see a better looking car further up the line. And so you'll get out at the next siding and you'll sneak your way up to that. Keep in mind now, there's only 2 people on that train, and they're only in the top car. And they're not going to be getting out and walking the length of their train. They're not paid that much. Those things are a couple miles long. Okay, I'm crouched. I can look. I did look once already. Oh, where is this ravine relative to anything? I don't know. It's attractive. I bet it's got a mine in it too. Okay. See what we can do besides falling in a ravine. Oh well. So yeah, throw your partner's pack down to him and go to the next town and call for help. Never get on a moving train. Never get off a moving train. And what you need with you: small fires for cooking. Careful and build them on the metal part of the car. That's another thing you might get off the train at a siding for, is because you need firewood. Trains are big enough, you can totally get away with doing that. How I keep winding up next to that old village again and again. Yeah, it's the ravine. It keeps throwing me off track. Oh, I'm on track right now. This is good. Right ravine. Oh, that could haunt me. I think he's retired now. He was a mentalist in the 80s. Great ravine. Commercial would play just when he was coming to town. He was coming to town like multiple times a year. This guy toured. I mean, I'm telling you, really got sick of his announcement that he's coming to town commercials. Just played multiple times in any given show, and then like they just, I don't know. Never did see him. Never went to see him. Commercials don't work on me that way. I've got the money to participate in the economy. I simply can't. And it's interesting that because I've gone so long in my life being just simply unable to participate, I've actually developed a sort of an immunity. Oh, look, there's Village. I've actually developed a bit of an immunity. Home Village, secondary home, to the advertising, because I simply can't. After a while, things they're trying to hook you aren't hooks anymore. They're hooking you with stuff that you know is just not true. It's not going to happen. Doesn't include you. Almost like watching people of another religion celebrate their festivals. You don't have the same emotional hook on that festival that they have. Oh. Now, the way you feel about Christmas, well, that's how Indian people feel about Diwali. When they watch you have Christmas, then they feel about Christmas the way you feel about Diwali when you watch them celebrate Diwali. Make sense? Well, substitute whatever alternate culture celebration you like. All works the same. The ones we grew up with as children, are the ones that matter to us. Dump a bunch of stuff out of my pockets. Isn't that nice? Alright. I think I'll take the train back to the other village. Oh, look, this guy. What's going on, man? Okay, we got cocoa beans. Some kind of tree. I got all the trees already. Packed ice, sea cucumbers, glowstone, shrooms. Oh, horrific. Really, I ought to kill the guy just for being not carrying slime. Like, no, you didn't have slime. Dead. Done that before. I'm feeling inhibited. Full on my forehead. Very itchy after a while. It's a curious thing. Skin wants to breathe or something. Not entirely sure. Actually warmed up quite a bit. Oh, what? I gotta. Oh. So sorry about that. I do have an electric space heater in the bus here, but I just don't feel that efficient enough, cost effective. So it's there as a backup, but I try to keep it warm enough that it's not turning on. I've got it on its lowest. I'd like to have something that keeps this place at a lower setting than that, that kicks in at 5. To keep it from freezing. I really like to find a solution that gives me adequate control, reliable heat. Like my parrot can hang out in here. I can go do stuff. Even though I'm here, leaving the dogs and the parrot here, just like I would at home. When I'm out on the road. Go to the grocery store for a couple hours and I know they're fine. So for heat, that's just not the case. Very unnerving. Have been practicing and testing. Around here, it's much more supervised. Well, I started by not. I didn't leave the bus with the fire going, and leave the property house, and I come back. I sleep with it. I'm a very light sleeper, and so dogs, so I knew I was going to wake up. I've been thinking that. It really needs to catch fire, and it's not doing so. Oh, I got 3 more minutes in the hour, so then I'll quit. Maps, no longer mapping. There you have it. On. Icky. Woohoo! We're home. Right. Why, yes,